2005 through 2013, for 9 seasons, originally broadcasted within the United States, was The Office. Based on the 2001 through 2003 British sitcom of the same name, the United States version was critically praised and heavily respected by audiences. It was often considered to be the most well-written, best acted, and most original comedy series of the early 2000s within the United States. The characters featured in The Office were portrayed as everyday American workers of the Dunder Mifflin Paper Company, as their antics being documented from everyday activities. However, in Season 6, episode The Delivery, was the first official mentioning of the Scranton Strangler, as Jim and Pam Harper were celebrating the birth of their daughter Cecilia. A co-worker, Andy Bernard, brought in a copy of the local newspaper from Scranton, Pennsylvania, where the office takes place in. The mystery of the Scranton Strangler was mentioned periodically through the rest of the series, and eventually the identity of the Strangler was revealed as a man by the name of George Howard Scubb, but overwhelming viewer opinions on theories have it that the Scranton Strangler was someone else. For this parliamentary discussion, the focus will be placed on the most referred to choice of character as to who the Scranton Strangler could have been or even originally was. Toby Flenderson, as played by Paul Lieberstein. Popular theories had it that during a conversation, Toby mentions his intentions to move to Costa Rica and quit his job at the office. But in Season 5, episode Weight Loss, Toby was depicted in a hospital bed mentioning that he had broken his neck during his holiday to Costa Rica. Hypotheses state that this was when the Strangler first appeared, as this accident was the catalyst. Toby later returns to Scranton as well as the office. References to his feelings for Pam Beasley go back to nearly the beginning of the series, and due to the events within the office, Toby left when she got engaged to Jim. The timing of this was eerily exactly as when Toby was in hospital from the accident. Further events had it that in Season 5 episode The Duel, online speculation had it that the first theoretical murder of the Scranton Strangler took place. Through a conversation with Meredith and Oscar, other workers at the Dunder Mifflin Paper Company, the both of them spoke of a murder, and that the person was strangled, and that even the deceased person was Meredith's neighbor. For a period of time there were no murders or even mention of the Strangler until, as mentioned, the first official murder in The Delivery, with Andy's newspaper of the Strangler headline. Once again, the references to the Strangler are muted until the infamous Season 7 episode Viewing Party, as the episode depicted the office workers watching a car chase of the Strangler, and the only character missing is Toby. Theories further had it that the car depicted in the chase was that of Toby's own car, and that the car was seen in previous episodes, but no one technically noticed, due to the suspected car not being out of the ordinary when compared to other cars in the Dunder Mifflin employee parking lot. Eventually, through this series, his overall plot, the Scranton Strangler is caught. It's not exactly conclusively mentioned as to how, and Scubb is later convicted of murder, and through irony or fate, Toby is serving on the jury against Scubb. Toby was one of the jurors whom had agreed that he was guilty, and the verdict had an extraordinary mental effect on Toby, as he was mentioned a number of times that it had affected him deeply and personally. Eventually, the guilt and mental stress of the whole situation were so much on Toby's own sense of self that he had later arranged a meeting at the local prison to speak with Scubb. What's mentioned between the both of them isn't exactly known, as to viewers, Toby was later depicted as being attacked. Speculation had it that Toby perhaps confessed that he was the true Scranton Strangler, and that Scubb attacked him out of anger and frustration of that fact. The neck injury that Toby received while on holiday in Costa Rica was shown in perhaps a final reminder of what had happened. Further theories that while the mysterious character of the Scranton Strangler might have been an interesting subplot for The Office, Such a dark and morbid aspect of The Office couldn't be done much more than what it was without keeping the comedic aspect of the series. Online evidence had it that Toby was indeed perhaps the Strangler, but later changed his skull because of the more friendly nature depicted overall within the series, on the fact that if Toby were indeed to be the Strangler, a character of The Office would be permanently gone upon the eventual discovery of who the Strangler was, and it would theoretically, arguably, affect the image of the series. Sometimes a character could be forgotten because they were supposed to be someone you'd expect, but later changed because it would affect the public perception of the sitcom itself.